why, but I've had the Donkey Kong theme song on in my head for this entire morning. I don't know why, it just popped up and now I can't get it out of my head. I've seen a lot of videos when people just switch them over so fast from park to drive. I just can't do that. I always try to go very gently like that because I always think stuff are gonna break. I know you can probably just switch it in there. I just don't it doesn't feel good when I see someone do that. But what are we gonna do in this video? I'm gonna show you basically a review of the Ram Rebel 2020 here, and walk you through my 4-month, it's been 4 months already, which is pretty nuts, but 4 months ownership, and let you know what I like about it, and I guess what I dislike. I guess I'm gonna try and come up with stuff that I dislike about the truck as well, and talk to you about that. Maybe if you're in the market for a Ram Rebel yourself, this might be a useful video for you. That's the reason why I'm doing it. And also, before we do that, a quick update on the stuff that I've been ordered, that's been ordered but haven't arrived yet, and those are the wheels and tires. 20-inch wheels and 35-inch tires are ordered, and also the bed rack, which is actually being, I think they're made to order, so they actually manufacture the whole rack when an order comes in. And there is an aluminum shortage right now, which they say is delaying the order, but I emailed both the wheels and tires, those guys, and the rack, and they say about 30 days after the order was placed. So for the rack, that would be sometime next week, and for the wheels and tires, mid-January, hopefully, because we're going on a road trip to I think it's to Tennessee on the 17th, I believe it is. We're going up there just to chill out for a couple of days, and I want to get my wheels aligned before that, because they're not aligned since I did the leveling kit. It's not a big deal, but I would be more comfortable having the wheels and tires on there right before we go on that big trip, and not have the wheels possibly misaligned and stuff when we go on such a long road trip. But I'm gonna keep you posted on the updates there. This video today is about basically a review of what I think about my own 2020 Ram Rebel after 4 months of ownership. Oh look, there's a green McLaren 570S Spider. I like it. I would say the number one thing that I like about this Ram Rebel, or any Ram from 2019 upwards, is the interior. It's just a beautiful interior in here compared to other trucks that I've been in. I haven't owned any other trucks, but I've been in them and I've sat in them and kind of felt how everything feels. I love this little display right here in the center, and also that I have analog gauges for what I want to see analog. So the rev counter, of course, and the speedometer right there, and the fuel gauge at the bottom there. And then you can modify these four to show whatever you want. So you can do that right here in the menu. You scroll down to screen setup right here. We click in there, and then you can see upper left. And then you can have whatever you want in the upper left corner right here. Compass, outside temp, and none if you want to have the blank, which is interesting if you want to have that. Oil life, and a lot of different things here. So you can configure whatever you want here, which I think is pretty cool and neat. You can see that whatever window I'm selecting here is highlighted in red, which I also think is it's just a clean interface. It looks good basically. And I really appreciate the design of this. And then of course there is this, the 12-inch center console, which I really love, and it's so easy to use. I do have the screen protector on here, which makes it a little more matte than the factory, and also the fingers slide easier when you have this on here. And then of course it plugs into Apple CarPlay like this, super easy, and it's clear. You have two cards, so you can have your one card up here, which I have now, which being the navigation, and then you can choose whatever card you want here at the bottom to whatever you want, comfort, media, nav, phone, or whatever you want. Now for the option, this is a 4-wheel drive Rebel. I'm not sure why anyone would ever buy a 2-wheel drive Rebel. It doesn't really make sense to me. If you buy the kind of off-road trim level, then you probably want to have 4-wheel drive. But anyway, I don't have 4-wheel drive auto, which I've seen some Rams have up here. So this button is missing here. I have 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive low, and 4-wheel drive high, and also hill descent control right here, and axle lock, which will be useful when you lose traction in the rear end to lock up that axle. And I also don't have, I think there's supposed to be a tow brake control right here, but it's fine because I don't really plan on towing a lot. It can tow 11,000 pounds, which is probably something I'm never going to tow with this truck, but it's still good to know that it has that capability. But I don't have this piece right here, which is the tow brake control, which I'm fine with. Now, if you're going downhill and you want to have more control of your gears, you have that little gear limit right here, so you can choose your gears and set a gear limit by pushing these buttons right here, which is very useful if you're going down. For example, I remember last time we were in a 4Runner going down Pikes Peak. You kind of want to have some engine braking if possible to not just overwhelm or overheat your brakes. So what about the fuel economy here? Well, we can have a look at the gauge or the display right here. Fuel economy, since this, it's always been around 13.2. That never really changes. So I think that is the absolute average across the entire distance that I've been driving this truck, which is about 5,000 some miles. So 13.2 with the stock wheels and tires. I don't think that's bad. I mean, I don't really drive it super cautiously or trying to, you know, if you have a Hemi V8 under the hood, you kind of want to use it a little bit as well and have some fun with it. But I'm sure that number will drop a little bit when we put the 35s on here. Now, this has the Alpine sound system, which is absolutely fantastic. I have no idea how many speakers are in that system, but we have a bunch of them. We have some down there, we have some in the middle right here, and some in the up there in the rear seat as well. And they're also up here by the A-pillar, as you can see, in addition to the center one right there. Another thing I really love about the interior here is all the compartment, all the space you have. It's so much bigger than any other car I've ever owned. And this is just a full-size truck. Then you have the 2500s and the Super Duties and so on. But this is way more space than I expected it to have. And I really like the back seats as well. They're super comfy. I don't have the reclining option here. It doesn't come with reclining seats in the Rebel, but you have it in the Laramie, Longhorn, and the Limited. I think all have the reclining rear seats, which I think is cool. Not something that I kind of need back there. All I'm gonna use this for when it comes to camping and so on, overlanding, is just I'm gonna fold it up and have stuff there. For example, a cooler and whatever I need. I haven't really researched all the things I'm going to want out there, but that stuff is going back here when we just fold up the seats. And we also have a double glove compartment. We have a small one down up there, and then we have the big one down here, which is super useful as well. This is the owner's manual. I don't know who reads owner's manuals anymore. Just go on YouTube and see whatever you need. You find that way quicker on YouTube than going through and scrolling all that stuff. Up here you have the opening and closing for that window back there, as you can see. Pretty neat. Now, if I have to come up with one negative thing, it's gonna sound so ridiculous just saying this out loud, but if it is one thing that's kind of interesting, I wouldn't call it negative, it's just an interesting flow of air, is when you have the rear window open, the truck has been sitting for a while, and you have like leaves and stuff in the bed. Now, especially when I've removed the tonneau cover back there, and when you start rolling up to 40 or 45, everything, literally everything that's in the bed comes flying into the cabin. So I look forward to seeing how that will work out when we're in snowy conditions and there's snow on the bed. I'm sure some of you watching this have experienced that. Does the snow just blow right into the cabin when you drive? I think, first of all, when we start off in its snowy conditions, I'm gonna keep that closed for the first 10-15 minutes to have all the snow blown off. Otherwise, Lindsay's gonna go crazy. I'm gonna go crazy too, just having snow blown on my face. A good way to wake up, that's for sure. Let's jump out on the outside and let me show you what I like about the Rams on the outside, and specifically the Rebel. So let's have a look at the design on the front here. Some people, I've got some messages, people saying they don't like the front grille of the Rams, and I can see why. It is a little bit mustachy, if you want to call it that, with this line going right here, but I actually think it looks fantastic like this. If I wasn't going for the Rebel, I would go for a sport, I think it's the sport level or something like that, where you have the blacked out instead of chrome. I don't like chrome, specifically if I'm gonna own the truck. I don't want chrome on my truck, so just body colored front end and bumpers and so on. But the Rebel also, of course, comes with this steel front bumper, which is super useful when it's time to go off-road. And I love these headlights right here. They're so beautiful with these two strips right here. And if we go up even further in trim levels, you're gonna get the limited headlights and the TRX headlights, which are a little squintier and they stretch a little further like this, a little not as high as these are. Still looks good, but they're still, I think, a little bit more high-tech than these, even though these are LEDs all the way around. Everything is LED right there, and also the fog light LEDs down there, in addition to my newly installed ditch lights right there, or 3-inch pop lights. If you're interested in those are linked down in the description, as is my front mounted LED bar down there. As you can see, it's not on right now. There's a 20-inch light bar down there, also linked down in the description. One thing I'm not so sure about are these rails here. I'm pretty sure when it's time to go off-road, I might take them off. I don't think it's gonna make a huge impact on getting in and out, make it harder or easier. It's pretty easy to just jump up there. One really cool thing about the exhausts here is that I just noticed, or my neighbor noticed, that these are not stock exhausts. I've been saying that the whole time since I bought the truck, that these are stock exhausts. I knew the Rebel sounded good, but I thought this Rebel sounded specifically good, even with the stock exhaust. But then my neighbor, I was going to buy a muffler delete or something like that, a different muffler for the truck. So I said it to Chuck, my mechanic neighbor, asked him, is this something you can do? So he went down there and looked under the truck, and he said, you know what, you don't have a stock exhaust, it's already been modified. And that was pretty interesting to see. I had no idea, but it kind of made sense, because it sounds so good, especially when it's cold. I'm gonna show you what it looks like underneath so you can take a look yourself. You can see right there that Chuck has written something on the exhaust. There's supposed to be a massive muffler right here, but that has been removed, and instead they welded in just a pipe instead. And that just makes it look or sound a whole lot better as well. Next up, as I've said, are the wheels, hopefully coming within a couple of weeks. And we also have the RCI bed rack coming. I removed the Toto cover because I thought it was gonna come a lot sooner than that, but I totally understand there's a shortage of aluminum, and they're actually manufacturing the whole thing right now and shipping it out, hopefully within a couple of weeks there as well. So I'm keeping you updated on that as well. If you have any questions about the truck, just let me know. I'm happy to answer them in the comments, or even make a video on it eventually. So now the question is, would I buy this truck again? Well, of course I would. It's a great truck, and I love it just more and more the more I turn it into exactly what I want it to be. And I can't wait to see it finished when we get all the stuff that I'm waiting for here. The thing with this truck is it's not going to be one of these trucks that I just own, or vehicles that I just own for a couple of months or so. This is something that I'm gonna build up into and turn into an overland truck, bring onto a lot of adventures hopefully in the future. So it's gonna be part of this channel for a very, very long time. And since I'm adding so many mods to it and turning it into exactly what I want it to be, of course I'm gonna keep it for a long time. If you want to follow along on that journey, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Some of you may know I'm moving to Colorado next year, hopefully. Those are the plans, at least. And that's when the real adventure, I guess, begins, because I can't wait to explore not just Colorado, but the surrounding states there as well, and taking this truck on that journey, and you as well if you want to. If you're interested in any of the mods, they're all linked down below in the description. Thank you for watching, and as I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Happy to answer them down in the comments, or make a video on it eventually. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you in the next one.